Och idag ska vi diskutera och prata om kundservice och hur vi kan möta kundförväntningar genom kundservicen. Och vi har, tycker jag, märkt väldigt mycket på Venture Relations hur kundservice och marknad börjar diskutera allt mer med varandra och att silosarna kanske minskar i betydelse just för att man ser att det är väldigt viktigt hur kundservice beter sig när man skickar ut sin kommunikation och pratar om olika kundlöften och hur man ska bete sig och att man bryr sig och sådär. Sen så ser vi också väldigt mycket att många kundserviceavdelningar förstås också fokuserar på next best action och hur man kan marknadsföra och vad man kan föreslå för relevanta erbjudanden och aktiviteter till olika kunder och förstås one-to-one. I will now switch over to English because we have English and Matt Betson from Oracle sitting in UK. Welcome, Matt, on board.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, and as I know, we don't have Michaela on board, so I know that you have, just briefly before we start presentation, you have a quick competition between the audience here, the participants, delegates, and maybe you could just briefly go through that if that is okay with you.
Yeah, sure. So we wanted to, I guess, make the webinar a little bit more, a little bit different, a little bit more interactive. So rather than starting with introductions, we thought, hey, let's start with a free offer because we know people like free offers. So as part of attending the webinar, you've been entered into a prize draw. You can opt out of that if you don't want to be entered into the prize draw. Then you can just send an email and let us know. But essentially, the prize draw will give you access to a free business consulting package. So one of the things that we're able to do at Oracle is essentially take a business assessment using business consultants to really focus on the customer journey. So walk in your customer's shoes and give you insight and real examples of the specific experiences that your customers are going on. And then obviously how you can make changes and improve based on the customer journeys that we've assessed and what kind of results that you can expect as an output of those kind of things. That will obviously be benchmarked against industry standards and give you a little roadmap around how you get to best in class. Obviously we're Oracle, but this is not just a technology assessment. This would include the business processes and the the kind of the human engagement kind of components as well. So it's a great kind of a good kind of area for really just focusing on where your energy and efforts for improvement need to be. And as I said before, it's absolutely free. So if you don't want to be entered, then let us know. But just by attending, you're automatically entered, and then we'll come back to you if you're one of the lucky winners.
Perfect. Interesting. And thank you, Matt, for that. And as I know, you are very experienced in this area with customer service. And as I mentioned in Swedish, maybe you didn't follow that, I see that marketing departments and customer service departments are talking more and more together to be able to match what the marketing promises to the customers and they match the customer service behavior and how they deal with customers when they talk to them. Do you also see that from your perspective in Europe and
Absolutely.
UK?
So I'm gonna cover this in the in some of the points I have in I've just got a couple of slides to kind of go through that. But in summary, service is the new marketing. Right? Service is marketing.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, but yeah, welcome on board. I switch over the control to you and
let's go.
Let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. So hello everybody. Just before I start and introduce myself, Matt, can you just confirm you can see my screen?
Absolutely. We hear you well and see your screen well.
Great stuff. Cool. So as Matt said in Swedish, my name is Matt Bateson. I'm a customer experience director for Oracle. Essentially, my role is to work with lots of different customers across lots of different industries, both B2C and B2B markets, really about how organizations can transform and I guess kind of make lots of changes to improve the overall customer experience, but specifically leading to some kind of business outcome. Now, obviously, Oracle is a technology company. My background is not just technology. I've been in customer service since I left school. So really, my background is very much around contact centers, around kind of customer journey mapping. So I understand the business process kind of side of things, as well as the kind of the technology components as well. Which is why I kind of I work in a team of strategists that kind of talk to different customers about how to get the most out of their customer experience. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about how customer expectations and the whole service industry has obviously shifted. Some of this you would already know, and it would just be kind of repeating and reconfirming things that we're seeing already happening today. And then we're going to go a little bit into the future and then look at, well, what might happen next and what could the future look like. And then obviously we're going to hear from CGI about how they're actually able to support customers and support organizations in delivering on these changes that we're going to talk about. If you've got any questions, put them into the chat, or we can cover those towards the end. So I'm going to speak for about 10 minutes and we'll make a start. So if we look at where customer service has started and where it's come from and where it's going, we started very much in a very single channel, largely telephony, maybe a bit of face-to-face, right, in terms of the traditional customer service experiences that customers used to have with brands. And this is both B2C and B2B. And then the age of the internet arrived, and we kind of saw email and websites popping up, obviously, around the 2000s, and then mobile exploded. And following that, I think the biggest change here has really been what I would call Web 2.0. So really the revolution that's happened online, where social is really making the majority of the traffic and the majority of what people do online is attributed to social media. To the point where if you add up, there's a recent survey that added up all of the time spent on apps on a mobile device, bearing in mind mobile has now overtaken desktops for searches, according to Google. That makes up over half of Google's traffic via mobile. And actually, I think it's about 70% of time spent on your mobile device is in apps that are classed as social media, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Skype, Instagram, Snapchat, if you're down with the kids, as we say, which is a kind of a huge amount. So that revolution has really happened in the consumer space, and that consumer revolution is 100% visible in the B2B market as well, which we'll come on to in a moment. Now, what that's meant from a service perspective is really the power has shifted from the brand to the consumer. So if we look at the left-hand side of the screen, that was really the brand saying to the consumer, your call would be recorded for quality purposes. Right? The brand were in control of that channel. That was their channel. It was private. Nobody else could listen in. Right? The brand had all the power. Now it's the consumer saying to the brand, this experience is going to be shared across my millions of followers and all my Facebook friends, and it will be retweeted and shared again, depending on obviously the social channel. So actually, deliver the experience at your own benefit or peril, okay? And that power shift has been enabled by what I would call the Web 2.0 revolution, where customers can now act as a much bigger, much more powerful social group. And obviously brands, the smart brands are kind of looking at that and working out how they can now leverage that power, that referral, that viralness that customer service can achieve in order to make your business more successful. We're starting to also see channels emerge that are purely owned by the business again, but more of something that delivers a higher customer expectation or a higher customer experience. For example, click to call, so making it much more convenient to pick up the phone rather than having to wait on hold or anything. Click to call, maybe video chat. There's a couple of organizations who are using video in a B2B sense from a service perspective that is quite innovative. Obviously making it much easier, lower effort for customers in order to engage, which is obviously what customers expect, right? They don't want a high effort when something breaks or they've got a question. They want to be able to get the answer to that as easy with the lowest amount of effort possible. So that's kind of where we are now, right? And as I said earlier, I think probably most people know this already. It's just good to kind of re-emphasize that and then look at, well, what's going to happen next? So we're in this kind of age of digital and the digital revolution, and there are some buzzwords flying around like IoT, big data, AI, VR, right? It's It's hard to keep up with with all these things that are happening, let alone work out what they mean from a customer service perspective. But I just want to put some context on this. If we just look at IoT alone, I think it's Gartner that have predicted that there will be around 25 billion connected things, so things with sensors or some kind of data connection that we can collect information from, by 2020. Now that's less than 4 years' time, right? If it's nearly Christmas, it's nearly 3 years' time. That is going to equate to 25 billion, just to again put that into context again, because that's a huge number. That equates to about 3 things for every single person on the planet. Right, and that's just a crazy number that is almost incomprehensible. Right? That's a crazy number that you can see the scale of the information that we're going to have access to if we're able to leverage it. And actually, we've been talking to some customers recently about this, and their predictions in their own industry, pharmaceuticals is one of them, is that the number for them is going to be more like 50 billion. Right, so even the Gartner estimate of 25 billion, some people are seeing that as too conservative. Some people think it's going to actually double. Either way, we know it's going to be a huge number. Mobile will continue to rise. Artificial intelligence, we're starting to hear things about virtual assistants and chatbots, but actually a more powerful artificial intelligence which focuses on next best action and being predictive and anticipating what customers might need or what's happening in a customer's ecosystem or environment based on the data that we're capturing from Internet of Things and all those sensors. So the more data you have, the more powerful your AI could be. So you can quite quickly see how all these digital forces actually come together from a service perspective. And if we go out even further, maybe into 2025 or 2030, how quick 2020 has come around, I'm sure 2030 will come around very, very quickly as well. And really just looking at maybe the impact of virtual reality and augmented reality. We've already seen some huge things like Pokemon Go have dominated the press and dominated what people are doing with their time and with their apps. So I kind of wanted to share, what that might look like. And it's one company, if you are interested in VR, it's one company called Magic Leap. It's just Magic Leap. If you go and check them out online, just do a little Google search. You'll see potentially the power of what this transformation could be. But they're basically developing what they call cinematic reality or mixed reality, which basically gives you the ability to have real life but overlaid with data sources, information, any kind of internet-based intelligence that you could bring into the real environment, a little bit like augmented reality. They just to give you a kind of a view, they already have, I think it's something like a $4 billion or $5 billion valuation, and they haven't even released a product yet. Just to give you a view, as this is not some small startup in a garage somewhere. This is big mainstream stuff. But what could that look like for service? So you kind of walking down the street with your with whether your Google Glass, right, if that ever happens, or maybe your Magic Leap device on your head, or maybe contact lenses that have got this technology built in. So what could happen is the VR headset senses the brand, and this could be a person's face with facial recognition, by the way, and Google are already doing a huge amount of work on that. So you look at the brand, and automatically we're able to, based on the brand recognition, we're able to say, well, actually, this is the rep score. That could be Trustpilot, it could be any kind of data source that you wanted it to be, but a rep score about the rating of that brand. Maybe some recent examples of people who have engaged with that brand. So you can see here the Living brand, and this is actually a real street in Canada. Some tweets and some social messages, social engagement that's recently happened. Because it's connected with my Facebook account, it can see that 12 of my contacts have been and shopped here in the last 30 days. Gives me the ability to like them, follow them, contact them. If I contact them, maybe it has a video kind of experience where I can actually see the person that I'm speaking to. So the difference here in terms of technology is huge, but really what it means from a behavior perspective is we saw that shift on the previous slide. The shift, I think, is going to continue at a huge pace, because at the moment, customers are having to pull information about a brand manually. They're having to go and do the research themselves. The information's out there. I can go and check out your company on Facebook. I can go and check out your company on Twitter, or just Google it and see what comes up. The information's there, but it requires me to do something as a consumer. in the future, this is going to take that effort away, and this is going to push information about your company to me, and I'll be making real-time decisions based on what I can see. So we talked about marketing, right, and how service is the new marketing. That trend has started already. It will only continue to get stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where it will just be marketing. You know, I don't think there'll be a huge opportunity for marketing to change people's perceptions or behaviors in the future. It will be experience-based, experiential marketing, as they say, which service, as you know, has a huge part to play. So if we bring it back to reality, you know, back to present day, if you like, there are three things that I just really wanted to touch on, conscious of time, so I'll do this really quickly. First one is impressions, second is social, third is data. So the three kind of takeaways that we could do something with now. So when we talk about marketing, and we distill that down a little bit and how service and marketing should really be working together, impressions is something that marketeers are obsessed with. When they talk about impressions, they're talking about, you know, how many times an advert has been seen on YouTube, or how many times when you're scrolling through Facebook on your timeline, how many times has you know, a sponsored ad appeared in your timeline, or whatever it may be. You know, when you go to YouTube and you have to watch 5 seconds of that annoying little video at the beginning, right? That counts as an impression for a marketeer, and they all say, you know, high five, thumbs up, great job, we did over 10,000 impressions, brilliant. What's starting to happen now is we're moving away from impressions, because people realize that the value of an impression doesn't mean anything if no one's watching it, no one's paying attention to this stuff, because there's so much, you know, coming our way as consumers and as people, maybe from a B2B perspective. You know, why would I pay attention to what you're trying to do? So if you look at attention, then actually one of the parts of the business that already has the customer's attention, or attention of the majority of your customers, is in the customer service space. You know, when we talk about impressions from a marketing perspective, they get excited if you can engage a customer for like 20, 30 seconds, right? So, or maybe a minute, that would be like amazing. In customer service, right, some of our average handling times are 10, 15 minutes in some cases. So working with marketing and kind of looking at how you can leverage the impression and the attention that you have with customers via the customer service channel, but leveraging it from a marketing, how we use that as a competitive advantage, is really, really key. And that kind of is an immediate thing you can do around how you bring those two things together. Social, again, from a B2B perspective, huge. The line between socials, it's not something that you do, you know, whilst you're at home and then you come to work and you forget all about it. You know, mobile devices, bring your own device, where actually your computer or the devices that you use are the same in person as they are at work. Customers are increasingly using social in a B2B sense. And more professionals are online. You know, if you're not able to engage with people online via social, then you can almost guarantee that your competitors will be trying to do that to win your customers off you. So social is not something that you do necessarily to get ahead. It's something that people expect, and if you're not doing it, I think it's fair to say you can expect that your competitors will start to use that against you. The third thing is then data, and data in two senses. I think, again, from a B2B perspective, this is probably more important than in the B2C space. Customers expect personalization, especially in a B2B sense, right? If I'm a customer and we've done some business and I have a contract with you, and you know, I pick up the phone or I tweet you or whatever, and you treat me like somebody that you've never met before because you don't know who I am, you don't have any data that sort of gives you a 360-degree view about what my previous interactions are, what my products and services are, then forget it, right? You know, I don't want to be treated like a number. I want to be treated like Matt. Because I'm doing business with you, and vice versa, you should be treating me like a valued customer. So personalization and using that data to personalize is really key. The second thing is then anticipation, and this is a really, really key point. The ability to anticipate why I might need service. Not when I phone up, you kind of got an idea as to what I'm phoning up about. This is before I've even phoned up. In some cases, it's before I even know that I have a problem. You're using data, where you talked about those 25 billion things, right? You're using the information you've captured from that, and you're saying, well, actually, we think that Matt might have an issue with his device, or there might be a problem with that pump that we've installed in that location, or you know, we've got some sensors that the windmill in you know, in the Westland or of a certain country might be, you know, it's working fine at the moment, but actually we've sensed there's some problems with it, and it probably will fail in maybe 3 or 4 days. So let's go and fix that before it becomes a problem. So using data to predict and then anticipate from a service perspective is, again, something customers, I wouldn't say they're expecting that right now, but that's something that if you're able to do, and share what you're doing with customers, then that will exceed their expectation and obviously give a much better level of service. So final one for me is, you know, kind of what's the takeaway, and obviously CGI, we're going to talk in a bit more detail about how you can make some of these things happen. But really, it's not just about technology, right? And I know we're Oracle, so you know, we're a tech company, but we understand that it's about the partnership of humans and machines. So it's about how you bring people and technology together to deliver the best experience. So we kind of break that down into three ways, right? So smart people who advise, giving them the knowledge, the information they need, the context, right? The context that they need in order to provide a better level of service, to exceed a customer's expectation rather than just meet it. Automation where you can, reducing the effort from a customer perspective, you know, fixing things before they break, those kind of things. And then the business anticipation, how you're building, using all that data and those information points to actually anticipate when to engage a customer and when to fix something before it goes wrong. Or even how to improve a service before you even know it's improved. From a marketing perspective, you can anticipate someone's needs may have changed because they're using the product or service differently. So then you can kind of reach out and maybe upsell or cross-sell. There are a huge number of ways that you can anticipate. So with that I'm going to kind of close on that point. Really just kind of the summary here is the shift that we've seen so far is only going to speed up. Technology is not slowing down. Customer expectations are increasing at a faster rate. So really, the takeaway for me is, if you don't do something now, if you're not ready to change, then I think you can expect to see your revenues and your customer experience and the progress that you're making as an organization to start shrinking. So for me, this is not about getting ahead anymore. It's about staying current. If you are able to get ahead, then great, but really this is about staying current because things are moving so quickly. Okay. So there we go.
Perfect. Thank you, Matt. And due to time, I believe that we actually just go directly into Johan Toresjö. Welcome from CGI. Are you with us, Johan? Thank you.
Yes, I am.
And I think we hand over the control to you directly, and then you continue the presentation.
Yes, thank you. So, good morning, everyone. So my name is Johan Toresjö. I come from a company called CGI. I will come to that a bit later. So, just to crack on, I will do a short introduction of me and my company, not in the case of selling anything, but rather to explain why I'm going to say the things I'm going to say in this presentation. I'm going to also cover a bit of what Matt was doing and covering, where CGI see this change in the customer service area, but more from a business to business perspective. I will also talk about how we are reacting to this change, and also deliver a customer case so that you can see how we actually have implemented this in the organization. And also then look at the benefits we got out of this, and where we used kind of the cloud solution for doing these things we did. So very short about myself. I am a Director of Consulting Services at CGI. My main focus is CRM and customer experience. So I have a team of people I manage that also runs these. Okay, there we go. Help our customers to perform better, let's say. Especially in multitude of customers, my main focus is in the retail area, I should say, but I have a background in CRM in a multitude of industries and companies, so that's short about myself. So CGI then, at a short glance, as I said, we are about 65,000 professionals, closing in on 70 actually. We have a 10.3 billion annualized revenue, and we're the fifth largest independent information technology and business service provider company. And we also operate globally, of course, and in a multitude of different services and industries. As I said before, we at CGI, of course, is like most companies. We like to think that our customers are important, and we like to know what they're doing, and that they think we are doing a good job. So we have a different ways of measuring this. One is called the CSAP program, the Client Satisfaction Assessment Program, that we run with every customer we have, that is our main customer at least. We have a continuous dialogue, and then they answer kind of we sit together with the customer discussing how we're doing. But also, we also do what's called the CGI Global 1000 program, which is basically looking at what the customers are doing and where the trends are, where they actually are moving. And we do that in, as the name would suggest, 1,000 in-person client interviews, of course, with decision makers all over the globe, in a multitude of companies also. And this is just so we know where our customers are moving, so we can actually move our business in alignment with what your guys are trying to do out there. And that is why also my next piece of the presentation ties into this, where we actually see a change in the service area, mainly. So from a CGI perspective then, how do we see the modern service organization? And this is very similar to what Matt has been talking about. We see a gap also in the old, if you call it that, former customer service, where we had people calling a call center and maybe sending a mail or doing stuff like that. And it moves more and more into being able to face our customers in new ways, more online than offline. People don't really want to talk to anyone, basically, but to have a very instant and fast customer service that is also saying that we need to know what the customers want, basically before they even contact us. And our question was then, are we prepared to bridge the gap? And from our perspective, we were also way a bit behind, but we also changed ourselves to be able to follow this kind of new trend that we can see that also is exploding and going more and more in the direction of customer focus and faster movement of our customers. We also see that the standard customer is not just using 1 or 2 channels that they previously did. What has happened is that they're using maybe 3, 4, or 5 and even more channels to communicate with us. Even in the B2B industry, our customers are actually requiring us to be able to help them and their customers with a lot more channels than they used to do. So that's why something we need to focus on. And that we have tried to do also. So what do we actually, as a company, strive to do with our good customer service? Of course, we want to have a lower effort, freeing more time to spend with our customers, freeing up more time to do other things. We want to increase productivity. We want to reduce volumes. We want to do lower cost in our service and connection with our customers. Of course, we want to strengthen the relationships with our customers, increase the satisfaction, improve loyalty, drive higher advocacy for our services. I mean, a happy customer is the perfect way to expand your business normally. And by doing this and keeping our customers happy, we increase our opportunities, we improve our conversations, and we drive more sales through being a selected vendor because we're doing something with high quality and the right thing at the right time, let's say. So just to talk a bit about the customer case we had, where we implemented we had these challenges that we are experiencing now, what I talked about earlier. So our customer to us as a company called ISS, it's an internal service outsourcing company. They work in a multitude of industries such as facility management, cleaning services, security, technical, catering, and support services. They were founded in Copenhagen in 1901, of course, and they're actually the 4th largest employer private employer in the world, 500,000 employees. And we are servicing the 9,000 in Sweden currently. Our mission at ISS was to support and manage all the Oracle e-business suites. And the focus here was actually ERP and HR and contract management. We also taking care of their basware environments. And every related incident change request from the Swedish user base. As it states here, it's about 300 new incidents and change requests per month that was coming into our inboxes. So, of course, there were some challenges with this initially when we took over this. We had a constant flow of incoming incidents and change requests that we wanted to do something with, a structure in a way that the customer felt that they got the service they required and we could actually keep a handle on it. Issue, of course, was they're using, as I said before, multiple channels. There was a huge amount of mailboxes, chats, information sheets and requirements that we didn't really have support for. So we didn't have this complete overview on who's working on what and who's doing what and how long time does it take to do these things, and are we actually following the SLA set by the company. Of course, we needed also, to get this overview, we needed some form of analytics to see. It was hard to look at the data we were supplied with to actually get picture on where are we actually together with the customer. And we couldn't provide these correct answers and all these a complete picture of what the demands from the customer was, which is very frustrating from both the customer side and ours, of course, since we want to do a high quality job. And of course, since we also then didn't have the overview, we had a hard time coordinating work around based on our incidents, since we didn't have a complete overview on where things are and the statuses. So there was a kind of a challenge initially to do these things. And on top of this, we didn't have a sufficient knowledge base in place where we could actually reuse the information instead of inventing the wheel all the time moving forward. So our solution, and I should mention also that of course we are a partner of Oracle and a system integrator of the service cloud, but that was not mainly the reason why we choose this, because we're also an independent supplier, so we could have chosen Salesforce, Microsoft, or SAP, CRM, or whatever. We felt this solution was actually the one that fits us the best in this case. So what we did was actually, through the Service Cloud, we structured the incoming flow in issues and incidents. We managed to take care of one tool collecting all different channels that we used in one place. So we got everything into one system and one tool. It was easy then to get an overview. And since we didn't want to have this infrastructure management sitting on all the servers for these tools that we wanted to use, because we wanted something that we could install and have up and running really fast, then also that's why we went to this cloud route. We wanted also to streamline the customer support processes, of course, making sure that we were doing things in the right order and according to the users and the customer demands. And also implementing this knowledge database that we needed in order to get some control of actually the information we had and cut down on times for looking for information instead of delivering information to our customers, at least in this case, ISS. So what were the top benefits delivered out of this solution, besides the increased customer satisfaction, which is kind of a given? Well, first of all, as I said, it was the knowledge database that provided a lot of faster response times than we had before, cutting down on the incidents or lead times to completion for all these issues and changes that we had, because we had already all the information at our fingertips, as I said here. We got a complete overview, of course, which we hadn't had before. It was very segmented before. Now it was one place for everything. And then, of course, we were able to monitor our current situation better and know statistics on exactly where are we at the moment, where are issues, where are backlogs, where can we do things more efficient, to certain things. We got a more structured way of working, which also, of course, creates this, increases the quality of the work we do, because everybody starts working in the same way and also in the correct way, leaving little time or issues for knowing where to go next and do what we're supposed to do moving forward. We can plan better. A lot on the customer side, they also know what to expect from us, and they know what's expected of them, which is very good. And the bigger part also was the analytics. We got a totally new, clear way of monitoring and overviewing all our current statuses, and also making sure that we're actually following the SLAs set up together with the customer. And of course, this is not like a stable solution. We know that our customers normally move forward and their business change, and they come with new demands on us for newer ways of looking at their information, their data, and how to use their own internal data that they have And in this case, we needed some form of platform that actually was able to provide us with this flexibility, so we didn't have to rebuild something or buy more, let's say. So those were the main top benefits. Some few value numbers here, not to bore you totally, but something that we realized very early was that it was a kind of a definite time saver for our staff. In this current delivery area, we have more engagement with ISS, but in this current area, we at least 30 hours per month were our staff of 6 people, that we could expand on the current assignment with our customers. And currently and steady, the customer in our CSAP scores, it's lying on a 9.0 out of 10, which is really, really good. And we're planning to keep them there, if not to increase if possible, of course. Just to look a bit about the project time, because I said that it was important for us to have a very fast implementation since we saw all these problems affecting the customer satisfaction. And this is actually the project time that we implemented this base solution, and then of course we have built on it later on. But after 4 weeks, we had incident and knowledge base management up and running, and then continue HR and payroll issues management in week 6. So it was very, very time saving, and in this case money saving for us. Saved a lot of revenue from our side, just being able to make sure we acted quickly on this. So why we did CGI go Oracle Service Cloud in this case, which is because we've of course focused a lot on finding the right solutions for our customers and ourselves, because we want to eat our own medicine, let's say. So if we sell a tool, we of course we don't bring it in front of the customer unless we believe it actually brings some value. In our case, it was that foremost Oracle is the large global player. They have a broad portfolio around this service or sales. So if we needed to expand our investment we've done to help customers like ISS, then in this case we needed something that we didn't need to buy more tools. We needed to buy even more applications to support us. We needed something that we could easily expand on and move together with the customer if we needed to. We of course, in this case, when we saw things were not moving exactly what we liked, we needed some fast implementation times without any infrastructure, and that we definitely got with the cloud solution. That is basically why we went to cloud. And then also we needed this flexible and agile solution to make sure we had a fast customer satisfaction and a fast value for ourselves and the customer initially. And if we see movement, if we see changes in direction in the business, then we also need to be able to have an application supporting that it's also so flexible that we can move as fast. And also in our case here, we needed multi-channel support, which was very important for us to be able to gather everything in one place. So why do we do this? Of course, we want to make it easy for the customers to engage with us, and basically our brand, because if they're happy, then they like our company and what we're doing, and we provide quality, which is good. We empower the employees of, in this case, our customers, to make it easy to service us. We make it easy to service them, and they get service from us in a very easy way, in a user-friendly way, which is also very important. We don't want them to feel that we are adding some complexity into the current business. Inside, we want to create a sensation that we're actually helping them. And as I said before, we need to be able to adapt quickly with the change or the needs of their business. So basically, the biggest benefit also was to have everything in one user interface: chat, email, co-browse, social, knowledge database, case incident management, reports, and analytics. Everything is in one tool, which makes moving around very, very easy, and also providing us with everything we need. So to sum all this up, which I went through really fast, good time, we have realized that the world of service is changing, meaning CGI, and that we have to move with this change in order to be able to deliver that we need to be able to say that we deliver first-class customer service. And we also firmly believe that our customers have the same intention, and we definitely like to help them to do that, the same things, based on our experiences as well as yours. And we can also see that, of course, our customers require us to know more or less everything about them and what the statuses are with the customers through all the channels that they operate in, which is something you possibly didn't need to do before, but it's getting more and more important as you get all these different channels to operate and contact your customers in. And for us, cloud was the solution for us to be able to be fast and agile. And our biggest mission in this was actually to increase our customer satisfaction, and I feel we have accomplished to do so in this case. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And Johan, do you believe the example you had was for B2B? I mean, you are a B2B company with the company customers, but do you believe this is also valid and relevant and usable for B2C organizations with many more customers and contacts?
Definitely. I mean, you don't own your brand anymore. It's the customer kind of, and there's a lot more power of the customer. So if you want to protect your brand, you need to be where the customers are, even if it's B2B or B2C. And the B2C is, of course, the driving factor in all this, because our customers, and mainly B2B, are hit by kind of what the B2C customers are doing. So, and of course, backwards, they're requiring the same amount of technology and digital transformation or whatever that their customers in turn are expecting.
Yeah, I mentioned in the beginning that we meet a lot of companies that are combining more and more or put together the marketing department with the customer service department. Do you see that also this platform is valid and usable for the marketing side?
Yeah, coming from the CRM area, I mean, that's the most important thing, to actually be able to see the complete customer view from all angles in the company, whether it's on the product view or if it's the marketing or sales. They all need to work together to complete the picture of the customer, and also, I mean, be proactive to know what the customer wants and provide the right solutions at the right time for the customer. So I would say integration is the most important thing.
Okay. Matt, you still with us? Hello, Matt?
Yes, I'm here, just unmuting.
Perfect. In Sweden, I meet, and definitely in the terms of marketing technology and technology in this area, I believe that the teleoperators are kind of driving the development and using that a lot. You mentioned also the next best action when people calling in, the customers calling in, but yeah, I believe and I see retailers are kind of behind. I believe that's my view. But what do you see from UK and Europe and so on? Do you agree with that? Or?
Yeah, good question. So, so if I can answer that question with a little bit of a theory, I think is probably the best thing to say. So, there's a great model that I saw Forrester use first, which basically talks about: is there any value, or is there any business value in customer experience, or how much business value is there in customer experience? And the way in which they presented it is a chart with two axes, so like a magic quadrant kind of looking thing, right? And it basically says the two dimensions, the two axes. One is freedom of choice, customers' freedom, right? So, for example, you know, if I take financial services, if I have a loan, for example, and I've taken it out over 5 years, then, you know, the freedom of choice, if I cancel my loan, I'm probably going to have to pay a load of money to an early repayment type cancellation, or maybe it's just really hard to change, to do things anyway, like a current account. You know, it's quite difficult to change your current account because, you know, you have to switch over all your bills and all that kind of stuff. So customer lock-in and customer freedom is one dimension, where obviously on the high end, you know, you've kind of got, you know, where I buy my coffee in the morning, I can choose a different place every day if I want to. Right? There's no lock-in for me. So that's one dimension. And then the other thing is the differentiation in the industry. Okay, so if there's a high amount of differentiation, then and a high amount of customer freedom, then the value of customer experience is absolutely huge. You have to be doing it to stay ahead of your competition. You have to do it because on a daily basis, customers can choose a different brand. And I think we start to see, in telco, maybe there isn't as much differentiation in the market, but there is freedom of choice. Whenever you're from a consumer perspective or from a business perspective, obviously the contract terms are getting shorter and shorter, which is giving the customer more and more ability to switch and change providers. So customer experience then becomes hugely important in order to not just stop the customer switching, but actually start enabling the customer to take on more products and services. So it's very much a revenue sales kind of conversation. Okay. To answer your question about retail, I think retailers have kind of been hit by a number of things, right? The first thing they've been hit with is obviously the whole online space, the digital or e-tailers, Amazon, those kind of guys, which is obviously a huge competition, and that's driven down their costs, and that's obviously a big kind of distraction for them, and something they've had to reinvent themselves to achieve. I think the second thing is, even though there's a huge amount of kind of flexibility for freedom for customers, I don't think retail has a huge amount of differentiation in the marketplace, which actually makes it a really, really big opportunity. But now is the time to really start differentiating. And we're working with some customers that are doing some things around iBeacons, for example, and connecting the kind of online experience with the offline, the physical experience, using people's apps and on their mobile phone to start looking at how maybe I'm walking past a store and I put some stuff in my basket online three days ago, but I abandoned my basket, but obviously I was logged in at the time, so you knew it was me. And as I'm walking past the store, I can actually get a little targeted advert to say, hey, those things that you were looking at online? Well, actually, there's one of them available in the store, and here's a 10% off offer if you want to go and get it now. So there is a really, really big opportunity to start moving retail forward. But I do agree, that retail is not really a differentiated market at this point in time.
Okay. Thanks, and the time is over. Thank you very much, Johan. Thank you, Matt, for being with us and presenting and giving some information. Tack till er alla som har varit med. Trevlig advent. Jag hoppas vi ses snart igen på något av våra event. Så ha en trevlig helg.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Mats. Thank you, everybody.